The importance of Vedana in the teaching of the Buddha. The teaching of the Buddha is a system for developing self-knowledge as a means to self-transformation. By attaining an experiential understanding of the reality of our own nature, we can eliminate the misapprehensions that cause us to act wrongly and to make ourselves unhappy. We learn to act in accordance with reality, and therefore to lead productive, useful, happy lives. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the discourse on the establishing of awareness, the Buddha presented a practical method for developing self-knowledge through self-observation. This technique is vipassana meditation. Any attempt to observe the truth about oneself immediately reveals that what one calls oneself has two aspects, physical and psychic, body and mind. We must learn to observe both. But how can we actually experience the reality of body and mind? Accepting the explanations of others is not sufficient, nor is depending on merely intellectual knowledge. Both may guide us in the work of self-exploration, but each of us must explore and experience reality directly within ourselves. We each experience the reality of the body by feeling it, by means of the physical sensations that arise within it. With eyes closed, we know that we have hands or any of the other parts of the body because we can feel them. As a book has external form and internal content, the physical structure has an external objective reality, the body or kaya, and an internal subjective reality of sensation or vedana. We digest a book by reading all the words in it. We experience the body by feeling sensations. Without awareness of sensations, there can be no direct knowledge of the physical structure. The two are inseparable. Similarly, the psychic structure can be analyzed into form and content, the mind or citta, and whatever arises in the mind, or dhamma. Any thought, emotion, memory, hope, fear, any mental event. As body and sensation cannot be experienced separately, so one cannot observe the mind apart from the contents of the mind. But mind and matter are also closely interrelated. Whatever occurs in one is reflected in the other. This was a key discovery of the Buddha of crucial significance in his teaching. As he expressed it, whatever arises in the mind is accompanied by sensation. Therefore, observation of sensation offers a means to examine the totality of one's being, physical as well as mental. These four dimensions of reality are common to every human being: the physical aspects of body and sensation, the psychic aspects of mind and its contents. They provide the four divisions of the Satipatthana Sutta, the four avenues for the establishing of awareness, the four vantage points for observing the human phenomenon. If the investigation is to be complete, every facet must be experienced, and all four can be experienced by observing Vedana. For this reason, the Buddha specially stressed the importance of awareness of Vedana. In the Brahmajala Sutta, one of his most important discourses, he said, "The enlightened one has become liberated and freed from all attachments by seeing as they really are the arising and passing away of sensations, the relishing of them, the danger of them, the release from them." Awareness of Vedana, he stated, is a prerequisite for the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. To the person who experiences sensation, I show the way to realize what is suffering, its origin, its cessation, and the path leading to its cessation. What exactly is Vedana? The Buddha described it in various ways. He included Vedana among the four processes that compose the mind. However, when defining it more precisely, he spoke of Vedana as having both mental and physical aspects. Matter alone cannot feel anything if the mind is not present. In a dead body, for example, there are no sensations. It is the mind that feels, but what it feels has an inextricable physical element. This physical element is of central importance in practicing the teaching of the Buddha. The purpose of the practice is to develop in us the ability to deal with all the vicissitudes of life in a balanced way. We learn to do so in meditation by observing with equanimity whatever happens within ourselves. With this equanimity, we can break the habit of blind reaction and instead can choose the most beneficial course of action in any situation. Whatever we experience in life is encountered through the 6 gates of perception, the 5 physical senses and the mind. And according to the chain of conditioned arising, as soon as a contact occurs at any of these 6 gates, as soon as we encounter any phenomenon, physical or mental, a sensation is produced. If we do not give attention to what happens in the body, we remain unaware at the conscious level of the sensation. In the darkness of ignorance, an unconscious reaction begins toward the sensation, a momentary liking or disliking, which develops into craving or aversion. This reaction is repeated and intensified innumerable times before it impinges on the conscious mind. If meditators give importance only to what happens in the conscious mind, they become aware of the process after the reaction has occurred and gathered dangerous strength, sufficient to overwhelm them. They allow the spark of sensation to ignite a raging fire before they try to extinguish it, needlessly making difficulties for themselves. But if they learn to observe the sensations within the body objectively, they permit each spark to burn itself out without starting a conflagration. By giving importance to the physical aspect, they become aware of Vedana as soon as it arises, and can prevent any reactions from occurring. The physical aspect of Vedana is particularly important because it offers vivid, tangible experience of the reality of impermanence within ourselves. Change occurs at every moment within us, manifesting itself in the play of sensations. It is at this level that impermanence must be experienced. Observation of the constantly changing sensations permits the realization of one's own ephemeral nature. This realization makes obvious the futility of attachment to something that is so transitory. Thus, the direct experience of anicca automatically gives rise to detachment, with which one can not only avert fresh reactions of craving or aversion, but also eliminate the very habit of reacting. In this way, one gradually frees the mind of suffering. Unless its physical aspect is included, the awareness of Vedana remains partial and incomplete. Therefore, the Buddha repeatedly emphasized the importance of the experience of impermanence through physical sensations. He said, "Those who continually make efforts to direct their awareness toward the body, who abstain from unwholesome actions and strive to do what should be done, such people, aware with full understanding, are freed from their defilements." The cause of suffering is tanaha, craving and aversion. Ordinarily, it appears to us that we generate reactions of craving and aversion toward the various objects that we encounter through the physical senses and the mind. The Buddha, however, discovered that between the